Something strange is really going on with the Cavaliers, specifically the Cleveland Cavaliers' young Defensive Player of the Year winner, Evan Mobley, as the way he has been playing on the offensive side is questioning fans and analysts, specifically Brian Windhorst, who called out the way that the Cleveland Cavaliers, specifically Evan Mobley, is playing on the offensive side. Something strange is going on, and we need to get down to that. That's what we are talking about here on Cavs Digest. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm Matt Palange. So excited to make another video for you guys. Hope everyone's week is going well so far. It is a lovely Wednesday. Just killing it with classes. Hope everyone's killing it with work and everything. And watching Cavs basketball. There's going to be a game today. Darius Garland's back. That's not what we're talking about today, but we will probably talk about it after the game and see what goes on, how much of a difference it makes. That's what the hopes are. Before we get started, have you ever wanted to become a sports analyst, content creator, or writer? Well, you can start here on Digest Media. We have openings for Ohio sports such as the Browns, Bengals, Reds, maybe the Blue Jackets as well, the Guardians. We're always looking for those positions. So if you are interested in joining, go to digestmedia.ca/join-us to apply. There's also a link in the description if you want to join this beautiful Digest team. I've loved working with Cavs Digest and the Digest team. So if you want to be one of the Digest creators, go ahead and go to the link in the description. Now, let's get started and talk about Mr. Evan Mobley, who Brian Windhorst is the specific analyst we're going to talk about today, calling out Evan Mobley's game. But it isn't just Brian Windhorst. I also see your guys' comments, and I've probably mentioned it too, that Evan Mobley's offensive play style this year has been kind of strange, but not like quite in a bad way, but a little in a bad way. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to break it down fully. So the first thing is Evan Mobley trying to be a true first option for the Cavaliers, trying to take over as a ball handler and shoot more jumpers. That's the biggest question. It looks like Evan Mobley wants to be able to expand his game into a Kevin Durant type of role with the way that he is playing. If you saw the way he played versus the Knicks, if you watch his specific highlights versus the Knicks, I'm not going to show you those, but I am going to show you a different clip. So stay tuned for that. It's a short clip that I'm going to show you about Evan Mobley's offensive game, but it looks like instead of being that kind of pick and roll, low post type of scorer that sometimes will pick and pop, looks like he's trying to also just create jumpers off the dribble, which is, in hindsight, a positive thing, but some people are not liking it, and we're going to talk about that because of his efficiency stats specifically, which we're also going to go into. So let's look at what Brian Windhorst had to say about the play style of Evan Mobley. The way they're playing offense, I really don't like. He also kind of dove more into Donovan Mitchell, how Donovan Mitchell looks like he's really shooting the ball more, but he also complements his game. But the one thing he said is, Evan Mobley, I really don't like the way he's playing offensively. That's what he said at the end of the clip that he had on ESPN Cleveland on their radio show. Brian Windhorst loves being on there, loves giving us quotes for the Digest channel. But that's what he said about Evan Mobley, saying he doesn't like the way he's playing offensively. He also said that Evan Mobley's scoring did go up, so technically, points alone, it looks like it's working, but is it working overall? Well, we're going to talk about efficiency here too. So why did Brian Windhorst say that? Well, as I said, it looks like Evan Mobley's trying to shoot more. These are Evan Mobley's stats from the season so far. 34 minutes, he has to play more, obviously due to some injuries to guys like Jarrett Allen. Obviously, Garland is missing time about to play his first game. Strus is still out. Hunter missed a couple of games. Mitchell missed a game. So Mobley has to be on the court as much as possible. He's averaging 19.3 points per game. We're going to compare these to his old stats from the past. So stay tuned for that. 9 rebounds per game, 4.4 assists, 2 blocks basically, 2 steals. But he is averaging 3 turnovers now, and he's shooting a 31% from the 3 and 45% from the field goal. As I said, I wish I showed you this, but if you watch his highlights versus the Knicks, he was shooting step-back threes off screens. He was shooting threes off the dribble. He would go around and shoot a jumper. That's what he really looked like he wanted to do. Instead of being more efficient where he is at, which is the post or pick and roll, offensive rebounds, that's where he's most efficient, pick and pop. It looks like he's trying to score more off the dribble. As I said, this can be a positive because if Evan Mobley is able to be a scorer that can score off the dribble, he is a 7-footer that is able to score off the dribble like Kevin Durant. Obviously not at the ability of Kevin Durant at all, but if Mobley develops into that, it could be really scary for the rest of the NBA and all the Cavs opponents. But right now, it's really questioning As I said, I see a lot of the fans, and I think it comes down to Kenny Atkinson, because Kenny Atkinson was kind of the guy who developed Mobley and is trying to develop Mobley. He focused a lot on Mobley's three-point shooting ability last season, and it got a lot better. We had Mobley being able to stretch the floor, and the Cavs got 60-plus wins because of the ability to stretch the floor. Obviously, Jarrett Allen still can't do that, but Mobley could, and it helped a lot. We loved seeing Evan Mobley shoot jumpers, especially off the stretch, off of a Donovan Mitchell drive, or off of a screen to Garland or Mitchell, and then he pops out. It looks really, really good, and we love that kind of play style, but it is a little bit questionable how much he wants to shoot jumpers. He's shooting jumpers at a very, very high percentage right now, and his shots just aren't falling that well. 44 and 31 is not great in the NBA. 45 isn't bad from the field, but when you're a 7-footer, you kind of want to aim for better than that. But Brian Windhorst doesn't like it at all. Let's see. Do you guys like it? Let's watch one clip specifically against the Celtics. This is Mobley. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Mobley gets in the way, calls for the ball back anyways. 6 seconds left. He's already on the perimeter. He goes and elects for a step-back mid-range at the end of a possession. He caught the ball with 14 seconds left, and instead of doing anything, he looked to attack, but he was trying to go off the dribble the whole time. He wasn't setting a screen. That was just one clip. In that Celtics game specifically, was one of those games where those randoms, who was that, Josh Tibbett or whatever, that was guarding Mobley in that clip, those guys were just playing phenomenal defense and rebounding well. So why would Mobley just try to force shots off the dribble and everything? As I said, if he's doing it at a high volume and he's being efficient, then it's going to be dangerous. But as of right now, like Brian Windhorst said, it's kind of weird seeing the way Evan Mobley's playing because it's not what we're used to seeing. But if it develops, it could be great. So that is the biggest thing. Now let's kind of look at his stats from last year. You're going to see the efficiency from him. Last year, 55% from the field, 37% from three. Of course, he was averaging 0.8 less points per game, but he was way more efficient. I'd rather have you shooting I'd rather have you scoring 0.8 less points if you're going to be more efficient. The year before, 58 and 37% from three. And then before that, he wasn't really able to shoot. With Bickerstaff, wasn't really focusing on his jumper at all. He was obviously scoring less, but he was more efficient from the field still. 55% from the field and 37% from three is very good at his size. Of course, the three-point shooting was low volume. He wasn't shooting that many threes per game, probably 2 last year, but you want to see Evan Mobley, who is your young star, the guy that you want to rely on heavily in the future with Donovan Mitchell. Who knows how long he's going to be here. He is your star in the face of your franchise, but Mobley is the young guy that you need to develop. Just won Defensive Player of the Year. His defense still looks great. Obviously, 2 steals and 2 blocks a game is a lot, and his rebounding is less than it normally was too. So that means he's out on the perimeter more instead of being down low trying to crash the glass, which is another thing that is questioning on the offensive side. He's also averaging more assists because he has the ball more in his hands. So Mobley is more ball dominant now. Is it good? I want to hear your guys' opinion. That's what I want to ask in the comments. Is Mobley's being able to dribble the ball and trying to take over on the offensive side better? Or would you guys rather see Evan Mobley do what he did last year? Play pick and roll, pick and pop, and post play and crash the glass. He's still crashing, but he's not crashing at high of a volume because a lot of times he's out on the perimeter where he wanted to be for the offensive possession. So that's the question for today. In my opinion, I think it's kind of strange that Kenny Atkinson and maybe Mike Gansey, Koby Altman want this Kevin Durant type of play from Evan Mobley versus what we've seen him in the past. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how Mobley can develop, because if he can develop that into a consistent form of scoring, then maybe it'll be great. But as of right now, it's really, really strange how the Cavs are playing on the offensive side. They look like they're struggling to score. Yes, they've had injuries, but maybe Darius Garland will fix that today in their next game. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about Evan Mobley's offensive play style. Drop it down in the comments below. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Both are totally free, and it will help grow, digest, and help you guys stay updated with all things, everything's Cavs. Go ahead and apply to join the Digest crew as well. I'm Matt Palange. Thank you guys for joining me here on Cavs Digest.